all this thing you're thinking is not African. It was white people that brought that homophobia.
Now then, and religion happened.
And whenever they say that, oh, it's not in our culture, your religion is not our culture.
So it's not like it's never existed in our culture, it's always been here, but they've lost appreciation for it and they just want to keep queer people as playthings.
Hi everyone, my name is Vincent Desmond. I'm a writer, editor, and journalist, and this is Convos. It's a podcast brought to you by Tears. It's platforming all the online conversations that you see, hear, read about queer culture, queer identity, and it's brought to you by the very people bringing to you those conversations online. So with me, I have...
Hi everyone, my name is Helena Yanemwen Nelson. I'm very happy to be here. My pronouns are her, she, and their. And I'm passing it over to Chijioke.
I don't know why you passed to me, but however, my name is CJ Bamba. My pronouns are he, him, queer rights activist, human rights activist, focused in Nigerian LGBTQ individuals.
My name is Tammy. My pronouns are they, e, and I'm interested in all things queer, I guess. Okay.
And I'm Liber, she, her, they, them. And as you all know, I'm just a girl.
Just a girl.
Yeah.
And I'm Desmond, I'm he, him. And the first question today is being queer African?
Okay.
Who wants to open the floor?
Timmy wants to.
Tell me, what do you think? Is being queer African?
Yeah, of course, I think so, because like, you're queer, you're African, like, it goes together. What do you think?
Fair enough. Actually, this question is even valid. We are here, we are African, we're queer. Does that not mean that queer is already African?
Exactly. I mean...
So why does the question even still exist? Why does it a thing that we're constantly questioned about?
Homophobic people that think they brought it over from the West. The West brought gay people, gay to Nigeria, and they were following the West.
And religion happened.
Actually, I would say that queerness did exist in pre-colonial Africa because growing up, I had relatives that seemed queer. Like, what I mean is, they never married, they never had kids, and you would always see them with, same-sex.
Gay people in your family?
Bro, in my village.
Passed down from blood.
In my village. Let me tell you, when I realized I was queer, I was 5 years old. And with no external influence, no media in my village. Like, my village is, there's no lights, so there's no reason to say, oh, I learned this from the internet or I learned this from television.
OG before IG.
Then I didn't know it was a bad thing. I didn't think it was bad until I was caught.
Wow.
It was traumatizing.
Really?
I didn't know I was doing something bad, in quotes, until that happened. And I realized that when I was in nursery school, I was only attracted to females. Like, when my friends tell me, oh, that girl is beautiful, So when it happened, and then the whole family, were, just dragging me down, calling me names, and all the saying, oh, I go spoil quick, blah, blah, blah. I now realized it was bad, and then I started like trying to hide bits of myself, trying to hide that, oh, I didn't really like women and all of that. But so I would totally say that it is what it is. I was queer, I was young, there was no, and to be honest, most of my sexual harassment and assault started from childhood, and it was from men. So it won't be that, oh, it was a girl who touched me and then I started liking it. You understand what I mean? So I totally feel that you are queer. It doesn't even matter your nationality, it doesn't matter where you're from, your tribe. You're just queer, it's just who you are. So this whole idea of, well, God didn't make us queer, blah, blah, blah. We should just be in it. Let's just trash it.
But would you say that experience, having started, quite that early, has shaped who you are and have empowered the Helena Nelson that we know today?
Give or take, actually. Give or take, because I really retreated into my shell.
Yes.
After that experience, I never told anybody that I liked women. Even in secondary school, when like some girls come up to me, I just pretended that I was completely straight and not bi. And the only time I started actually trying was when I was of age. I was like 21. That's when I had my first like female, like I kissed a girl. So it was just, let me not hug the mic, please. Let's go on.
Okay, we're talking talking about family experiences, in my family, I wouldn't say that I knew anyone who was queer, but there were experiences, things that I witnessed as a young human growing up that would tell me that, certain things were quite queer. I mean, we're talking about pre-colonialism and all of that, and it was about an uncle who married this very beautiful woman. I respect her to date because she did something really empowering. They lived, according to what I heard, for over 50 years. They didn't have a child. Kept beating her up, GBV and all of that. Then eventually, one time like that, I remember as a kid, she landed in the hospital losing one tooth. Yes. Then we heard that she wanted to get married to someone. Then, of course, family want to ask who, even though we're no longer married to her. Then we discovered that she was getting married to another woman.
Oh.
Yes,
Oh.
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. She was getting married to another woman. Yes, she did. And I was a bit perturbed as a young person. Woman, they marry woman. But then we loved her. Even though she left our family, we loved her because we could see that none of those was her fault.
Yeah.
I mean,
she was
just
the
childless.
one. Yeah.
She shouldn't kill anybody for being childless. She was really a very nice woman. Then she got married to this lady, and so eventually we realized that whenever you go to a restaurant, because she ran a restaurant, then you see kids, and they say they were her kids from the woman that she got married. Now, plot twist: my uncle, that's my uncle, direct uncle, finally got married to another woman, and 5 years later, they adopted.
When they say
Okay.
So that's it. No, so you're seeing a case of GBV, you're seeing a case of woman marrying woman, you're seeing a case of men being what they call them SCUM.
What's SCUM?
Scum.
You said it.
Sorry, that's giving together. That's giving together.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so I just wanted to mention that whenever I see people asking whether is queerness African or something, and they say it was brought by white people, I'm just like, yeah, but all these 14 years that you keep shouting, it was white people that brought it up.
Let's actually unpack that. Let's talk about that. Let's unpack that. Thank you.
They have a law
Thank
that
you.
criminalized homosexuality until the white people brought it over here.
Thank you.
So all this thing you think is not African. It was white people that brought that homophobia.
Not them.
Exactly.
They did, and then they are so I think it was last week I saw a tweet where somebody said that is all the same-sex boarding school that give homosexuality and lesbianism. And
I didn't go to a boarding school.
Same.
I never
go to the boarding
I was in
school.
and I was in a mixed school as well.
And then one of my mutuals said that, okay, so people that went to mixed schools are now the ones that did bisexuality. I was like, yes. That's how they shared it.
You know what?
That's how they
Game
shared it.
out.
Because
Sure.
when they talk sometimes, I know they're like, Nickelodeon is influencing our life. I did not watch TV growing up.
My bro.
My parents would not even allow. I did not watch TV.
I didn't have
until
a TV.
I was 16 before I even knew, homosexuality. There was nothing for me to even read about, and they always insist that, no, it could never be our culture. It is not in our culture. You people must suffer, and I don't know why.
Yeah, and even when you talk about media growing up was not queer. It was not media growing
It
up.
was violently strict. It was violently strict.
It was mama and papa.
Exactly. So where would that come from?
Nobody grew up. Exactly. Nobody grew up watching The Princess and the Pauper and the Princess
Oh,
and the
no,
Pauper.
like-
Yeah. Because they're becoming queer now.
Yeah, exactly. It's now that we have more queer representation. Before it was very, very cis-het. It was very white. So I'm always
So
confused when people
the point is
reference
that-
that because the things we grew up watching, the media we grew up consuming is very heterosexual. Very cis-heterosexual. So I don't know why there's so much emphasis on media being a huge factor on Africans being queer when it's
Yeah, what to
not
do with that?
largely.
When you talk about media not being queer, Temi said, I didn't watch a lot of televisions while growing up. Not because our parents didn't want us to. It was because they had this large television in the house that only shows when it stops raining. And we have to go to neighbor's house. And it's only what they gave us that we watch. So it was frustrating. But then Dad was, of blessed memory, was very traditional, right? So he did masquerade. you know, and so I was a bit acquainted with a lot of, you know, traditional masquerade stuff. And during those days, there was this masquerade in my place called the Adama Onwunyemao. Yes. And it's a female masquerade. And the crazy thing about this masquerade is that it was won by men. Effeminate men. And this masquerade is also well respected in the masquerade cult and tradition and history and all of that. It's one of the biggest masquerade. So you see it, you know, chasing children with this very ambiguous makeup and mask and feminine wears and just moving up and down. And I would look at it and be like, come on, no. All these masquerade always carrying juju and with smoke on their head. But here is this one I could relate to. This one is beautiful, no? Yeah. So oftentimes when they come to my house and you know that was achieved and we pay homage and all of that, I see this Adama and I was like, please, is Adama coming today? I want to see Adama. I want to see Adama. It was always Adama. And to think that till date, Adamasi has this very much respect and high representation within the masquerade cult is baffling. And Adama, according to history, has been there centuries, you know, over time. So tradition recognizes effeminacy, if I must add. It recognizes non-binary. It recognizes women who behave like men. It recognizes, you know, female male representation in one, you know, masquerade, and it's so empowering to know. And I must say that this shaped to an extent my knowledge about queerness, and it kind of empowered me to understand that was huge with traditions and masquerade. And there was Adama that represented me. So it was so beautiful to see. Really beautiful. And to this I respect Adama. Yes. I respect Adama.
Shout out to Adama.
Again. Then there's Ijele. So Ijele has been there and is well respected. And one beautiful thing about Ijele is that the adornments, the colors, the shimmeries, the sparkles, you know, giving a very sense of feminine.
Drag, boo-boo.
Do you understand?
That's what I was thinking.
There's been representation over the years in histories, and it's quite predominant in Igbo culture. Respect.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I have to quickly say, it's not just Igbo culture because I'm from the South, and him talking about it reminded me vividly about the Adama like masquerade from where I come from, and I have such a very vivid memory of following the masquerade to the playground, like maybe just one particular holiday, and like it's men running after the masquerade, not even female children. It's a man under a very masculine man, my uncle and everything, but everything around it was just very feminine, and it just makes me realize that low-key, we just had like queer culture somewhere, just people existing outside the binary of gender in one way or the other.
Exactly.
And that's just really amazing, just like very beautiful to just like remember and just know. So yeah.
And we can talk about Area Skata who existed in the 20s, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And everything that she stood for, how she was able to like create a name for herself and just exist. Like it makes me think sometimes that like it's obvious that like these things existed in our cultures because there are traditions that represent, that have these various queer representations, and it's like people love to see it. They love the media of it. They love to watch it. They love to
performance of
They love the performance of it. But when it comes to respecting the individuals,
that's exactly
it becomes a very big issue. So it's not like it's never existed in our culture. It's always been here, but they've lost appreciation for it, and they just want to keep queer people as playthings.
Okay, so I want to say, it's funny because I think you see this system even happening globally. Like, with something like drag. Drag has always existed. We see it in Shakespeare plays, we see it.
Yes,
and people were very fine with drag when drag was just the performance of drag, the performance of gender. The moment it became about queer people, about real life people with right identity, that's when drag became a problem.
You know, it's just like saying that, oh, I like lesbians, but where I draw the line is gay men. They just like the
performance of lesbianism.
Exactly.
The spectacle.
But once it's real and it does not involve
Exactly.
Yes.
Because an issue.
Yes, that's where the problem lies. Yeah.
And then you mentioned something about like the rigid straight lines. I'm just saying like religion has something to play in the straight lines.
Oh yes.
And whenever they say that, oh, it's not in our culture, your religion is not our culture. your name is not in our culture.
Girl.
And they never accept that, oh, okay, we can actually have these things that like seep into our culture. Like when you're replacing all your names with Oluwa something, that's not our culture. You're replacing your names with David. It's not in our culture. So like why are you taking one part and then you are leaving the rest? Your cultural wear even it's not Nigerian, it's not from here.
Yes.
So like there's one part of outside that is palatable to them and it's good to them, but the other part isn't. And then you have all this religious organization funding the anti-gay laws, funding the homophobia from other countries, from Western countries, and they don't think about that. They don't want to know about that. Like your homophobia is funded by the Western bloc.
Exactly. Because there's so many right-wing organizations that are doing so much damage. Because I know that the anti-gay law that was signed in Uganda this year was funded by a right-wing
Family Life Network.
So where you say you don't want Western culture, but they're here giving you money and you're gobbling it up.
Exactly. You know,
like
everybody worships money.
Exactly.
Money is a god. And whilst we're at this, let's talk about these females in the Igbo culture that marry like wives for their husbands.
Yes, like
I'm not an Igbo, but I read about it online. I watched like a YouTube video where they were talking about, you know, a woman who probably if she doesn't give birth or have children for
female
her husband.
husbands.
She just finds another woman that comes in that marries into the family. That's like being queer. Because
it is being queer actually.
Who knows if this woman is actually having like relations with the new woman that's coming into the family?
The thing is that anytime I see this mentioned, and then they always fight against it. No, she's marrying the woman for her husband. She's not marrying the woman for herself. Who is marrying the woman?
In my own case, there was no husband.
Exactly.
There was no husband. We just two of them in the same house, in the same room, on the same bed.
And there's something else, like I was going through it and I saw a tweet about how there was like a queer organization in Nigeria. I think it was around the 1800s or 1900s. I was
Really?
That was the same thing.
Like, whoa, that's mind-blowing.
See,
and it was fully registered too there.
yes, fully registered.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I'm like, it's been here for you can't say, oh, it is within the 10 years that BBC has been trying to infiltrate our youth or something. Like, it's been here for years and years. Like, people were born with it. Like, and anytime they come, anytime they come with, it's like, is it African? It's in Africans. They have been here for years. It's African.
I mean, if it's not African, why does it have African names? Literally every language has a name for it. So if it's not African, how come it has African names?
And I just feel like the fact that they're Africans that queer makes it African.
Exactly.
Automatically issue.
Period.
It doesn't matter.
Period.
It's because they also understand how to create these labels for things like when malaria gets to Africa, they understand malaria is in Africa. They know that Nigerians can have malaria. Nobody thinks can Nigerians have malaria.
Are they human?
But God forbid you be queer.
I mean, way back, like I had stories of like some family members that were queer. Like there was this man that everybody knew he was queer. Everybody knew he always hangs out with men. Like, you can't see him with a woman. They tried to get him married. They arranged marriage for him. They brought a wife for him. He threw the wife out 2 days after.
I like him.
He's a good
Do you
girl.
understand?
Good girl.
So,
Good
like,
girl.
Bye,
these were
Felicia.
stories that were told to me, like, when I was younger. Stop rolling with that uncle. Stop hanging with that uncle. They don't know, say me and the uncle were cut from the same cloth. So how can you now tell me that, oh, it's now that this thing is starting when I've been hearing stories of family members, of friends, of family members,
With
of
no media,
relationships,
with nothing influencing
no
them
media,
on
bro,
their own.
nothing, absolutely
Unprovoked.
And when Temi was talking about religion and the effects of their teachings, you know, that has perpetrated homophobia and all of that, it just dawned on me that you can barely read anywhere, you know, any article where a drag queen or a drag artist molested a child. You can not read anywhere where someone. It's always one priest or one particular denomination sleeping with children or molesting boys. And you know the crazy thing that, you know, the media does not sensationalize it enough to make it go far.
But because
within
they are
the
being
mainstream
paid.
media.
They control.
And
They are being paid.
but the moment there's a few number of persons in one room, maybe just enjoying themselves, playing loud music and drinking wine, and police raids, and it just becomes a big issue in the
nationwide news.
It becomes a sensation, and it's you see, I think if we must really talk about religion and all of that, let's start from the media, because if the media does not enable this sensationalization of all these news, it wouldn't fly.
Exactly.
No,
You
it's not
can't
religion, it's capitalism.
You can't really expect the media to talk about some people that are funding them.
Yeah.
So that people like us are not free, so that people like us do not live free.
Because it's perfect.
Exactly.
Because it's been since how many years ago? Like, I attended a mixed school, right? But I heard stories from my friends who attended non-mixed schools, like boarding schools, all girls schools, all guys schools. And majority of the molestation coming out from this is coming out from the people who were supposed to be tending to these kids.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Coming from maybe the matron, coming from their head priest, the master. So what are we saying? Like, for me now, I attended a mixed school, and it was a day school, it wasn't a boarding school. I go to school, I come back, and the only time I kissed the girl was like in my SS2, and it was just because I wanted to know what it felt at that age. Like, I've always had this burning desire, but I never really did it because of fear of the environment, who's going to see me and all of that. And then after that happened, later the girl came back to tell me that because she was from a all-girls school, that she was raped by the matron.
Oh my God.
Right? And because of that, she didn't want to have anything to do with me again. She just wanted to be straight. She wanted to, because this thing happened. Do you understand? And this is like my first hand experience of hearing that another person is going to like rape, or you get what I mean? So this kind of things, they're things that you can't even find in mixed schools. You can't find them there because they like everybody in mixed schools, and of course there are queer people in mixed schools, but there's no much freedom in mixed schools like in.
Everybody wants to blend.
Yes. Everybody's forced to be.
Compulsory.
My goodness, it's so freaking
So
tough.
I want to say, what I find funny is that you kissing that girl, even though you're both the same age, the same class, and everything, that's bigger news than, let's say, the matron raping someone else, who is someone who's under it. And I think that just tells you a lot about how it's not the act, it's just the fact that yours is something that can be sensationalized. And that's the same thing with the media. The media will find, if the media gets like these two stories now, yours will have more clicks.
Of course now, because
it's like, oh my God, this school has these students doing homosexuality. That gets everywhere.
Let's go to the act.
Exactly. That goes everywhere. That causes discourse. Who cares about like the matron ripping kids? Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
But yeah, I mean, I think the very fact that even in a situation where it's to minors, people will still pick up on that story from the minors involved and ignore the whole very real case of rape. Yeah. That just tells you how much of this is just being fueled by clickbait. These media organizations understand that people hate queer people. That's a fact. People, but at the same time, people care a lot about queer people stories. Like I remember like growing up on the internet and just very bare minimum, very simple things that I would say would get me. This particular instance, I tweeted like it was a joke about like just like people's parents being gay, and it got posted on Insta blog, and the thing got viral. It found its way to my family members, to my department group chat. It got me like a whole lot of threats for something that I thought I was literally just joking, and I tweeted and I just moved on. But because I just said people's parents could be queer,
which is a fact.
I feel like that's an absolute fact.
Freaking fact.
It's crazy. I understand that people's parents could be queer, but imagine somebody telling your mother could be lesbian.
I mean, what sis?
It is a fact. It is a fact.
And they start it because they always say, "Oh, if your parents were gay, will you be here today?" What if they are?
Yes.
Because
and even about the media, I have not recovered from the situation as Hatitude. So, and I remember Hatitude, like a women-only event, and I was there, and we all understood the threats that we inside the space were facing from men outside, because there were literally men outside trying to harass all of us. The men were not selecting that, oh, you are trans and you are cis, right? They were harassing everybody, and there was a fashion competition, and I walked, and I made heads turn, and people were pressed about it.
And you won?
I did when I was top 3.
See?
think, yeah, and it was,
that was good.
and it got so much like it was from the event I started hearing things because someone told me that some people were like saying that she's a trans woman, how can we give a trans woman this thing, which meant that like it wasn't ever a problem with the fact of if I qualified to win or not. It was just a problem of like why would a trans woman come to a fashion event and beat me.
Right.
Yeah.
And
So
it just like media everywhere, Instablog, Twitter, my Instagram was buzzing, my Twitter was buzzing.
As it should.
They were sending me
No,
threads.
that was
They
not
were sending me threads. They were sending me all sorts of things. My photos were everywhere. It was so disturbing. And I was trying to take things down. They take one down. Someone else has posted another angle. And well, I don't bad in any of the angles. But
Thank God.
Could that be the phobia
and that's transphobia in the media, right? And that's something that affected me. And we can also look at like Bobrisky, for example, and like
Free
the events-
Bobrisky.
Hey, Bobrisky.
Free Bobrisky.
Free Mara.
I want to mention that the only reason like they like Bobrisky is because she's funny.
She's entertaining.
No, she's not because she's funny. It's because they make her into a joke.
Yeah, okay, yeah. And they can laugh at her.
Yeah, it's not because she's
Yeah.
funny.
They make
They make her into a joke. It's like they never take anything she says seriously.
Yes,
She's just supposed to
exactly.
be a source of entertainment for them.
And she's enabling that. Sorry to say.
I mean, she leans into it because
Yeah.
she
She's
does
milking
that.
it.
Like,
Yeah.
that they don't actually
Oh,
like.
They don't
They
actually
don't like, they don't
and the
demonize
money thing,
Bobrisky.
and the money thing plays into it.
Yeah.
They
Obviously,
just
obviously.
course, of course.
accommodate Bobrisky because she's relevant
Exactly.
in the media
She gives them
space.
memes, she gives them jokes,
She
she
gives
gives them
them-
like one
Exactly.
liner.
She's just a
She's
puppet for
constantly
them.
trending, yeah.
And I also remember that Bobrisky went to an event and was the best dressed, and like people were like,
Yep.
"How dare you?"
Exactly.
Out of all the women there, and it's
Exactly.
like,
And
it's like,
Then
Going back to
when
Libra,
it became an issue, they now want to turn it, make it look like it was
Exactly.
staged.
Exactly.
They,
So it's always
they
like-
planned it. It was not supposed
Exactly.
to be. But we know that he ate that dress.
Okay.
She ate
So-
that dress.
Going back to Libra, so like I was at Attitude too, and as I was walking to Libra, there was all these stairs, all these side comments, and I'm like, but it was but when the event was like closed and people were focusing on, oh, there were these men outside, they were trying to harass us. They
Right.
focused on, oh my God, it was so first coming out because all these men were trying to climb first. Immediately, the first person posted Libra's video.
That became
all
a
those
problem.
men, they were talking about Attitude that how we have women's only event. That's rubbish. But immediately they posted it and opened the floor for Libra
Became
to be
about-
at.
yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
There was
it was no longer
the
about
men
that.
and
I
women
was
were
now
joining
the-
together.
Yeah. Now they
To
find common ground.
I'm the common villain. Now I'm the
They find common
harasser.
ground and
I'm the
like-
one that's culpable of everything. And it's just like, even in that, right, I'm still only an object for their entertainment.
yeah. It's
I'm
just
still
the
only,
eye,
yeah.
the eyes
I'm
and stuff,
just,
yeah.
conversation, I'm,
So,
yeah. No rest.
Sorry, but I have to say it's funny because, I mean, not funny, but one Libra experience, the whole thing where there's a very real life issue or a very real life threat of people outside trying to get in, but then they find a queer person, maybe there's queer person, the scapegoat, and they focus on that. African presidents have always done. You get you have very real life issues, and then you just bring out an anti-LGBTQ bill, and you have everybody focus on that.
yes.
Ghana.
Exactly. Ghana, Nigeria, Botswana, it's always
Ghana.
it's the
Yeah,
exact same.
even though
Ghana.
things
Freaking
are getting
started.
worse.
Exactly.
You don't
Because-
have lights, you
yeah.
don't have food. I'm sure that if they brought a new, in fact, maybe they want to increase it to 20 years. You see people that still buy pepper in the market at
Exactly.
Christmas
Like, they'll be
Friday.
like, yeah.
Oh my God, yes.
Because
When are we voting?
Because
it
it's
fits their
it
egos,
unifies
it gives
them.
them some sort of
Yeah.
power.
Yeah.
It makes them feel like, yeah, I'm recognized. Like that
Yes,
person-
I'm
they,
doing
they
something.
finally
Why
have
would
someone
you
to
Western?
oppress.
Yeah, I have someone to oppress. It's
And
never
then-
about we as a collective
Yes.
are not being treated fairly. We're not treated right.
Yeah,
It
they
doesn't
just
matter
like
who I have like power
other
over
people
or
suffering.
not.
Poor
Poor people frustrating poor people.
Exactly. And then the thing is that when those politicians come and they want to read their speech, and they also like, well, this is not Africa. And as I am a Christian, I will make sure that the gays are killed in this country.
Amen.
See, and then they'll be like,
Boom, so
as an
sworn in.
African man, it's not in my culture. But your name is one you.
Your name
Your
is
name
David.
is
Girl.
Your name
know,
is
Your
David.
name is,
David.
your name is, your name
Your
is
name is
Peter.
James.
Name is
James.
good
Your name
luck.
is Peter.
Do you know the first time I experienced harassment for being bi was in Ghana. I went for Shalewote, and then there was this pride corner where pride people can come take pictures, just hang out with each other. And after the whole thing, a lesbian walked up to me and was like, "Hi, are you bi or you're a lesbian?" I said, "Oh, I'm bi." Like, You're bi.
Oh, okay. We need.
Why are you bi? You're
feel
too
like-
pretty to be bi.
I feel like that's
Is that some sort of biphobia or something?
You know it is.
See,
Because she told me I was too
relates.
pretty to be bi. And
Aww.
this after the event, all of us were harassed by straight people
See, I get
at the end of the event. So the straight people don't even know who is bi, who is trans, who is lesbian.
Just know you're queer.
They
Fuck
just
you.
want to harass you because
And that's why we need to
you
come together. Like all this intra-community, kiniko, is very weird.
It is.
Very sad,
It
and I
is.
just feel so sad for all of them. Like,
is.
And
let us focus.
Someone said biphobia is gay.
Amen.
Because you get to experience biphobia within the community. For someone who is not within the community, all he knows is gay.
True. Like
But then
Actually-
within the community, we tend to differentiate. Oh,
Yeah,
you're biphobia.
bi.
You know, as someone who
you're
likes
bisexual,
men
yeah, you're
and likes
bisexual,
women,
yeah.
we feel for a lesbian like you experienced. Okay, you should just love women. You should just be women. You
yes,
shouldn't
yes.
be
No,
men.
I feel
But
like
from
it comes
someone-
outside too. Like
Sorry?
it comes outside too. Biphobia comes outside
Really?
too. Because I feel like a lot of bi women. I feel like if I go to a bi event and say raise your hand if you've been invited rudely to a threesome, everybody will be raising their hand.
Exactly.
My dear, I will
Sexual objects.
I rest my breasts. I will say, yo, do you know how I've been propositioned?
I feel like all of these things, we need to remember that like all of these things, we are people. And then when people like insult us by saying, oh, we do have a mind of our own, we're being brainwashed, we're copying things we see on the media. I feel like these are things that are innate to us. And when people are like, oh, did you learn it from somewhere? Were you born this way? Like, okay, whatever.
That annoys me so
Yes.
much.
Whatever.
Okay, anything.
Anything you
Yeah.
decide to think. It's
I
just
learned it all.
if I like to
I
talk,
went
if
to
it's here, like
university.
as long as they
University
are
of Trans-
I was speaking with someone. Sorry to cut you.
University
I was
of
speaking
Trans-
with someone on Facebook, and this person was like, "You must have learnt it from somewhere. You cannot tell me you were born this way. You
Exactly.
learnt it.
I learned when I
You
found the flying
learnt it
colours.
from
So what's
somewhere.
I can actually give you a rundown. Okay, so is it that you
The
were
courses
watching?
you took?
No.
That's what I say.
Not the courses, but I can give you a rundown.
Yeah.
When you tell someone you learnt it, someone did something to you when you were small.
Yes, that's where they start from.
That is two ways. Is it that if someone did something to you, if you're a girl, if a girl or a woman did something to you or sexually assaulted you when you were little,
You
that's
hate
why
it
you are
now.
not a lesbian.
Exactly.
But if a man did something to you, you hate men. That
I
is
hate
not why
men.
you're a lesbian.
Lesbian.
So you can't even win.
Yeah.
You cannot win. It's peer pressure. Your friends are doing it. They said that you will do it too.
You kidding?
You know, for some
Yeah, they are initiating you and paying you. This one, I bet they are paying you so many times, and I'm
Pay my get
broke.
salary soon. No.
and they be like, you're a gay man. You should know senators and governors. Now connect me now. I want to make money. So I'm like,
So they want you to connect them, but they don't want to agree for the fact that
Maybe
you are
to have rights,
actually
first of all.
naturally.
There are quite a lot of. If you ask an average queer man if he would want to, sleep with a man for a certain amount of money, everybody's got to pay. The first question is going to be like, I mean, it's always the case, and you realize that it's not just about them being homophobic or queerphobic. It is just something they feel it's right. It's something out of ignorance. Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to defend anybody, but then they don't know any better. They tend to, it's what we met. Our parents hated it.
Yeah.
We should hate it. In the churches like that.
Yeah.
The church is there, the
I
mosque is
am a
there.
church boy, and I've been in the choir as a teenager. I've been a lecturer as a teenager, and you get to realize that when you are in the choir, sometimes your choir master is queer, and when he comes around, it's all straight up. And I understand, you're trying to be safe, but please do not perpetrate homophobia. Do not preach against this. Do not talk to CJ in a way that fuels homophobia, because I know that you are. Because the moment I leave there, I get a message on my WhatsApp, and I might have to come to your house that night. That's a story for another day. So I think that there's a lot of pretense. Pretense fuels homophobia, religion, and all of that, and it's something that.
And there's also even a lot of important conversations,
Yes.
right? Because I feel like I've like every day, every time I make a statement on Twitter, they're on my neck, right? But like I remember one time I spoke about like how the phrase opposite sex is transphobic, and like they were
remember
jumping
that
me, and like blah blah blah. And what I got to find out was just that like a lot of the conversations they're having are not in context of Nigeria. Because they're saying to me like, oh, you're a trans woman, you're trying to invade women's spaces, you're trying to invade women's bathrooms, women's sports. I'm like, sports? Does your country fund your sports? Does your government fund the athletes in your country to do anything? So why would what am I doing there?
The bathrooms, you pay 200 naira to
in
get
the bathroom.
It's not a place of bathroom.
There's no restriction really in bathrooms in Nigeria. You have important topics.
Exactly. Because it's not even in context of like the realities of being African or being Nigerian. It's just things that they believe like add to their biases and they just pick it up. Like a lot of the conversations are
whatever
very,
that just
very
rocks their boat.
Western.
So
very Western.
So I'm very much millennial, and I remember you just reminded me. As a child growing up, those years in 5, 6, there were never really male-female bathroom.
They were
There was just one bathroom.
Yeah.
You go to a restaurant, you go to
There's a bathroom.
There's a bathroom. Do you understand? And you just walk in and you use it. Exactly. And sorry to say, very recently I was in a lounge and I needed to use the bathroom, and the male bathroom was occupied, and I really needed to use the bathroom. And I just entered the female bathroom, and nothing changed.
So, no, and the thing is, if you're ever going to look at history, right, the gender of bathrooms was created by white people. Because they had male bathrooms, they had female bathrooms, and they had blacks. So you as a black person, you were not allowed. You as a black person, you were never allowed to even have. You are not even given gender. You know what I mean? It's like you are black.
You're not a human being.
Like you don't get to be genderless. You are black.
Oh my God.
Because I'm studying architecture, right? Yeah. So a lot of like research about old buildings, you notice that if you go to very old buildings, there are 3 bathrooms. But like one will be made into a store, and you just wondering. That was why.
It was
white people in Nigeria had their gendered bathrooms, and their slaves had their one hole.
Oh my.
One hole, darling. One hole.
You know, in the end, homophobia is actually like racist.
Yeah.
In the end,
it is,
and it was just perpetrated by the same people who brought religion and education and claimed that theirs was more superior.
Yeah.
And
brainwashed people into believing it.
Because when in my village, when these white people came into my village, right, they were trying to force all the guys to cut their hair. My village, we are naturally nudists. Like we used to be nude. Yeah, we used
that
to
explains
be
you.
nude. Yeah. And you could imagine when white people came in, they said, oh, the women must wear clothes to cover their chest. We usually used to have like loin clothes just for like our, for both men and women. I hope, I wish.
Because the country is hot.
And then right after that, they now said, oh, the males must cut their hair because we have hair.
Yeah.
Men have hair. You must cut your hair before you have access to education. Right? And then after you have access to education, you must sign, the parent must sign that the child must follow maybe a white person, a priest or something abroad. We didn't know that they were going for slavery, right? My mom's mom was written like she was supposed to travel with a priest abroad, and then they were telling her, they said they refused because she was like the only child. They said she must stay in Ugep and have kids and have like family, and that was how she escaped.
Yeah. We're African and we're here.
We're proud.
Yeah,
I'm always be here, like
I'm living, but like
you're living in the country.
You're just a girl.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So it's just me.